The Egyptian Civilization Part 1. In today's session, we will learn about one of the longest known civilization, the Egyptian civilization. The Egyptian civilization developed over 4,000 years ago on the banks of the river Nile. As we all know that all the ancient civilizations developed on the banks of one or other river. But why? This was so because during the ancient period, the main occupation of the people was agriculture. And for agriculture, they needed two things. One was water for irrigating the fields, and second, fertile alluvial soil which was suitable for growing the crops. And both these things were easily available near a river. So all the civilizations developed mainly on the banks of one or other river. The Nile Valley is a narrow strip of fertile land protected on the east by Red Sea and on the west by the Sahara Desert. Because of the existence of these two things, the Red Sea and the Sahara Desert, it was not easy for the outsiders to invade or to attack on the Egyptian civilization. And because of this civilization remained undisturbed for almost 2000 years, and that's why it is among the longest known civilization. Why Egypt is known as the gift of the Nile. Egypt used to get very little rainfall in a year. Why? Because it was a part of the vast Sahara Desert, and generally in a desert area very little rainfall occurs. But once a year the mighty river Nile used to flood its bank and cover the valley floor with thick layers of fertile alluvium and making it ideal for agriculture, which further led to the rise and development of Egyptian civilization. And for this reason, the Greek historian of the 5th century BC, Herodotus, therefore called Egypt the gift of the Nile. How the foundation of the Egyptian civilization was laid. According to historians, around the 4th century BCE, two kingdoms existed in ancient Egypt, Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt consisted of the Nile River's delta made by the river which emptied means drained into the Mediterranean Sea towards the northern direction. Upper Egypt was the long, narrow strip of ancient Egypt located south of the delta. King Menes, who was the king of Upper Egypt, sent his forces to Lower Egypt and overthrew the king. In this way, he unified Upper and Lower Egypt around 3200 BCE and laid the foundation for the Egyptian civilization, and he became the first pharaoh. Pharaoh means the ruler of Egypt. Menes, he united Upper and Lower Egypt by concentrating on a new government, and he founded the capital Memphis. According to some historians, it is said that the crown of Lower Egypt was placed on top of Upper Egypt to make the double crown that King Menes wore when he became the first pharaoh of Egypt or the first ruler of Egypt. Important rulers of Egypt. Pharaoh Ramses II. He was the most powerful ruler of ancient Egypt. The massive statue of Pharaoh Ramses II and his wife have been displayed outside the temple of Abu Simbel in Egypt. Next major ruler was Pharaoh Tutankhamun, who became king at the age of 9. but his ruling time period was for a very short time, only for 9 years, as he died at a very young age of 18. The next ruler of Egypt was Pharaoh Cleopatra, who was the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt. And it is said that the ancient Egyptian civilization came to an end with the death of Cleopatra in 30 BCE. Egyptian society. In Egyptian society, the pharaohs or the rulers were considered human gods, and their statues were put up in temples and were worshipped. Their word means whatever they used to say was taken as divine law, means anyhow you have to follow whatever they had said, and their deeds means bravery action, and their victories were recorded in inscriptions carved out on temple walls. Second to the king were noble, priests, officials, and scribes. Scribes means the persons who used to write the daily recordings of the kingdom. Government officials were mainly drawn from the nobility. Then comes third level was the of the peasants, laborers, artisans, unskilled workers, traders and merchants. And the lowest class in society consisted of the slaves, most of whom were forced to work in mines and on the estates or houses of the nobles as domestic laborers. And these slaves were captured during the wars. Dwellings. Dwellings means houses. Initially means in the starting the Egyptians they used papyrus, which was a river plant, and mud from the river to build their houses. Later on they started making use of sun-dried mud bricks for building their houses. Most of the people of Egypt used to live in one-story flat-roofed houses or dwellings. The homes of the wealthy people were much bigger than this, and often or commonly their houses had gardens and fish ponds. Food. The staple food means the main food of the Egyptians consisted of bread made from emmer and beer made from barley. And to make their diet complete, they used to supplement it with fish, fowl and meat. Other than this, they also had vegetables, fruits and dairy products in their food items. Dress. The people of Egypt made cloth out of flax which they used to glue themselves, and then the flax was woven into fine linen garments. The women they wore full length wrap around gowns with close fitting sheets. The men wore loincloths or short skirts and long shirt like garments tied with a sash at the waist. Both men and women they used to wear jewelry like strings of beads, armlets, bracelets and earrings, and they used to wear elaborate headgear and sandals made of papyrus. Other than this, they used to wear wigs on special occasions or festival occasions. Then they used a variety of perfumes and cosmetics in cosmetics, especially kohl to outline their eyes. Kohl means kajal.